What is up? And today we're going to talk about that Atlanta Falcons win over the Cowboys. But before we get started, I just want to tell you guys to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share this with your friends and family, and continue to support my channel. We are going to get into that great win by the Atlanta Falcons over the Dallas Cowboys. The Falcons won that game 27-21, and quite frankly, for anyone that actually watched that game, the score really didn't reflect how dominant the Falcons were over the Dallas Cowboys. And look, it was a great game, great performance by the Atlanta Falcons. They were better in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. It was, in my opinion, the most complete game that the Falcons have displayed all season. And it was great to see. And quite frankly, if we're just going to be honest and be real about the Dallas Cowboys, they suck. They suck. They're just not a good football team. And the Cowboys, let's just put it to y'all like this when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. They can't stop the run. They can't pressure the quarterback, especially without Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence. They can't cover in the secondary. They can't run the football. And offensively, they're limited outside of CeeDee Lamb. Like, CeeDee Lamb's their legit wide receiver option, and they just don't have anyone else outside of that. And Dak is just, he's just, I know y'all saw that clip the other day about how, he was on the sidelines after he got injured, and he was like, in hashtags, we effing, I'm not going to curse, but he said we effing suck, basically. And they do. The Cowboys suck. And the Atlanta Falcons did a great job of taking advantage of the fact that the Cowboys suck. And the Falcons are just, to me, look, the first drive of the game when Dallas ended up kicking a field goal, that wasn't like ideal from like the start of the game. But after that, I thought the Falcons just took control. They got the ball on the opening drive, and Kirk Cousins was just dicing, picking apart pieces, finding Drake London, finding, I want to say, Bijan Robinson for a gain. And, Kirk Cousins, he ends up throwing the opening touchdown pass to Drake London on a fade, and it was 7-3. And unfortunately, Drake London got injured after that. And look, I hope Drake London is okay. It seems like, from what I've been able to read, he seems like he's going to be okay, and that the injury that he suffered isn't too bad. And so that's good news. But, the Falcons scored on an opening drive. And after that, to me, I never felt like the Falcons were in danger of losing that game. Because Dallas, like, you just watch Dallas, they're awful. They're awful. And quite frankly, they're just not well coached. Like, the illegal procedure penalties that they had, the false starts, they had, they had possessions where they had like 12 men in the huddle or 10 men in the huddle. It was just bad. It was just bad from the Dallas Cowboys perspective. And Atlanta took advantage of that. And the guy that I want to single out for this performance in this game is Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson in that game against the Dallas Cowboys was unbelievable. We're talking about a guy who had a grand total of 145 yards of all-purpose, meaning he had 145 yards rushing and receiving combined. Like, this is a dude in Bijan who was doing everything for the Atlanta Falcons in that game against Dallas. He was running the ball. He had 19 rushes for 86 yards. And then he added another 7 receptions for 59 yards. Just unbelievable game out of Bijan. And I got to tell you, when you get this dude in space, and I'm talking about Bijan Robinson, he is electric. Electric. And how he can just make people miss. He can juke. He has good enough speed. He runs hard. You get him in space, you're not gonna tackle this dude. He's just gonna make you miss because he just has a lot of juke moves, and he's just fast and shifty. He does it all. And later in that game, if I recall, I think it might have been like in the fourth quarter. I don't know what down it was. It might have been like second down. Kirk Cousins was a little under pressure, and then Bijan Robinson, he was running out as a receiver, and then he cut to his right, and then Kirk threw on the ball, and he ran for like another 30 or so yards, just making dudes miss and just running up the field like he's a wide receiver. I mean, he is. The performance that Bijan Robinson had against the Cowboys, and quite frankly, the way he's looked over the past month, this is why the Atlanta Falcons drafted him 7th last year in 2023. He's just special. He's a special talent. He's a special running back. And earlier in the year, I said that Bijan Robinson was the best running back in football. That's what I said earlier in the year. And, he went a little bit. He went, and then, afterwards, he went on a little bit of a lull for a couple of games or so. Struggling a little bit. But over the past 5 or so games, he has picked it up, and he looks phenomenal. He is phenomenal. I think this is 4 straight games in which he's had over 100 yards rushing and receiving combined. 4 straight games of this. And he's an unbelievable running back. Just a complete package. And I can't say enough about this dude. Like, I honestly believe when I talk about Bijan Robinson, this dude has the potential to be the greatest Falcons running back in Falcon history. I truly believe that. And the Falcons have had some really good running backs, from Michael Turner to Jamal Anderson back in the late 90s, to Warwick Dunn, T.J. Duckett, Michael Turner, Devontae Freeman. We can go back to William Andrews back in the 1980s. Bijan Robinson has that type of ability and potential to be better than all of those guys and set a whole bunch of records. And I think he just talent-wise, he's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable talent. And I thought in that game against Dallas, he was phenomenal. He kept everything afloat, especially right after Drake London got hurt, because the Falcons they had to lean on Bijan Robinson a good bit in that game after Drake London got hurt. And Bijan Robinson, I thought, was phenomenal in this game. And the other guy I want to single out is Darnell Mooney, another player I want to single out. He had 5 catches for 88 yards in this game against Dallas. And he had a huge touchdown on the 4th down in the second quarter. Now, look, Dallas might have had a little bit of a defensive miscommunication on that play or whatever, but Darnell Mooney, this is what he does. He makes big plays. He's a big play threat waiting to happen. And this is a guy that the Atlanta Falcons signed this offseason. And look, I'll say it again. When he was in Chicago, I heard of him, but I didn't know what to make of Darnell Mooney. I just didn't know. And ever since he's been in Atlanta, he's been amazing. He's been amazing. One could argue he's been the best receiver on the team. With all due respect to Drake London, and Drake London's been very good as well. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Darnell Mooney. He has been phenomenal. He can run every route. He can break tackles and run after the catch. He can beat you. He can make deep plays over you. You can throw him the ball deep and he'll catch it. You can throw him the ball. You can run intermediate routes in the middle and he can make plays that way. He has been just a great addition. This is the second offseason in a row between Darnell Mooney this offseason and Jesse Bates last offseason. You got two high impact level free agents in back-to-back off seasons, and they both have made a difference for the Atlanta Falcons. Jesse Bates on the defensive side of the ball last year and this season, and Darnell Mooney on the offensive side of the ball this season. Darnell Mooney has been awesome, and I can't say enough. I can't say enough about the job that Darnell Mooney has done. Like, he's given this offense just a different dimension, some speed and explosiveness that the Falcons offense just hasn't had in quite some time. And so I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Darnell Mooney and Kirko Cousins. There's that guy again, Kirk Cousins. Another solid day from him. It was 19 for 24. It was 19 for 24, had 222 yards. He had a quarterback rating of 144. And Kirko Cousins, just another solid day, efficient, taking what the defense is giving him. He's not forcing the ball. He's making good decisions. And you can just tell with Kirk Cousins that he's comfortable in the offense. He's comfortable. And if you look at how Kirk Cousins has played over his last 5 games, this is a guy that over his last 5 games, he's thrown for over 1,400 yards. He has 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. And he has a quarterback rating of 114.4. That's MVP. That's MVP stuff that Kirk Cousins is performing at over these last 5 games. So he's comfortable, and you can just tell he's comfortable. The offensive line is giving him enough time. And like I said last week, when you give Kirk Cousins time in the pocket, and he has that opportunity to scan back in the pocket and go through his progressions and grab out his Android or iPhone and scroll on Instagram and like pictures of IG models and all that other stuff, and he can just complete a pass. He's as good as it gets when it comes to just throwers of the football in the NFL. Kirk Cousins is balling right now. He's playing awesome football, and right now the Atlanta Falcons, they're getting their money's worth when it comes to Kirk Cousins. He has brought it. He's performing at a high level. The Falcons are fun to watch again, in part because we have a quarterback in Kirk Cousins. He's poised, he's accurate, he's making good decisions, he's getting the ball out to his weapons. And the Atlanta Falcons are winning football games, and they have one of the best offenses in the league right now. And so it's great to see. And you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they've won 5 out of 6 as a result of this. And shout out to Kirk Cousins, because he's doing it. And also with Kirk Cousins, don't y'all just love how he's just embracing the city of Atlanta right now? He's swag surfing. He's quoting out lyrics from Bankroll Fresh, whether it's like in press conferences or in the huddles and all this other stuff. It's great to see. And it's also great to see Falcon fans, including myself, just embrace Kirk Cousins. We're just embracing him with open arms. And I love it. I'm loving how Kirk Cousins is playing. The Falcons are winning games, and that's what it's about, man. It's about winning. It's about performing at a high level, and Kirk Cousins is doing it. And look, no matter if you're black or white or Asian or whatever, if if you can help the city win games, if you're an athlete, if you can help the city win games, we're gonna embrace you. We're gonna support you. And that's what we're doing with Kirk Cousins right now. We're embracing what he's providing to the city, and it's great to see. And so shout out to Kirk Cousins. And Zach Robinson is another guy I want to shout out, the offensive coordinator. I think he's done a look. I know some Falcon fans have given him some grief a little bit this season, but you can't deny that he's getting better as an offensive coordinator. Like, he's progressing, and this offense is progressing nicely. And he's getting better every week. He's getting more comfortable with his players, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the results this season. The offense is getting better. But like I said before, I said that, this game against Dallas was a complete game. And so the offense wasn't the only reason why the Falcons won this game. That's right. I'm going to give a shout out to the Atlanta Falcons defense. The Atlanta Falcons defense did some good things in this game. I'm going to give them some kudos. The Atlanta Falcons, they had 3 sacks. 3 sacks. 3. The Falcons actually generated some pressure on Dak Prescott. And actually, they sacked him at one point. I think it was early in the first quarter. They sacked him on back-to-back plays. The Falcons defense that came into this game with 6 sacks. They sacked him 3 times. It's a miracle. The Falcons could actually generate some pressure on the quarterback. And so shout out to the Falcons defense. I thought they did a pretty nice job of getting some pressure on Dak Prescott. They hit him a lot. They hit him a good bit. They had him moving. Now, look, there were also times in the game where they struggled to get him on the ground, a few other times. But look, it's baby steps. It's baby steps. And so I thought the Falcons defense did a nice job of just getting pressure on Dak Prescott. They didn't allow him to get too comfortable, and it was good to see. I thought Dak Prescott was just kind of wasn't good in this game. He struggled, and look, the Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys receivers, look, they're limited. Make no mistake about it. But the Falcons, the job for the defense is to not make it easy on the Dallas Cowboys offense, and I thought the Falcons defense, they did a good job of not making things easy for Dak Prescott and this Cowboys offense. And so I thought the defense deserved some kudos. I thought they did a nice job of limiting Dallas's offense and really their running game as well. I thought the Falcons defense did a really nice job in this game. They didn't allow Dallas to get too comfortable. And look, when you just watch that game from the Atlanta Falcons, like there was never a point in that game. Never. After the Falcons were up 7-3, there was never a point in that game in which I felt like the Atlanta Falcons were going to lose. Never. There was never a point in that game in which I felt like the Atlanta Falcons were going to lose. I thought the Falcons they had control of that game after they got up 7-3, and Dallas they self-inflicted themselves. They showed you just the bad team that they are. And the Atlanta Falcons took real advantage of that, and the Falcons executed. They were good situationally. They made plays when they needed to. They ran the football when they needed to. That last drive that got them up 27, or was it was 27-13. Bijan Robinson was doing his thing. I mean, not just Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier was doing this thing. Tyler Algier was just running through Dallas's defense on that drive. And so, like I said, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. It was a complete game. They got the job done. Raheem Morris, shout out to you for getting this team ready to play. And what else is there to say? The Falcons are now 6-3. 6-3 in the NFC. We still lead the division with, the Saints and the Bucks, and look, the Bucks play the Chiefs. Obviously, we'll see what happens with that. But the Panthers are 2-7, and the Saints. I mean, woohoo, wee! I mean, you talk about a dumpster fire. Shout out to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, woo! I mean, hey, I mean, what else is there to say about the New Orleans Saints right now? I mean, they've lost 7 in a row after starting 2-0, and so woo! I mean, you talk about another team that stinks. And so, but I mean, hey, I mean, as y'all know, I mean, that's who we have next, right? The New Orleans Saints. You know, the Atlanta Falcons up next got the New Orleans Saints. We're gonna go to New Orleans, and hey, we gonna get this. We gonna get this W. We gonna get this win. That's our plan. We're gonna go up to New Orleans and, you know, get this W, and then we can be 7-3. And we just gonna keep trucking along, and we just gonna keep getting better and better and better. And we gonna look to win this division, and then we're gonna see what happens in the playoffs. So that's the plan. But yeah, like I said, we got the New Orleans Saints coming up, and we gonna see what happens. But that's all I got for today, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.